Greetings, true believers, and welcome to another video where I will give you empirical evidence that Carrot is destined to join the Straw Hat crew. Now, this one is more of a bit of a dig at all those who believe that Carrot isn't destined to join the Straw Hat crew because she's not quote-unquote strong enough. Strength is not what makes a Straw Hat crew member, and anyone who would tell you otherwise is reading the manga wrong, watching the anime wrong. They're power scalers. They're the Zoro kills Kaido fanboys who believe that might is the only thing that makes right, despite the fact that throughout One Piece as a whole, strength has been shown to not be the end-all be-all thing, especially not for Luffy, who has admitted that yes, he can fight good, but that is about the only thing he can do. He can't lie, he can't wield a sword, he can't cook, he can't navigate. And One Piece has time and time again shown that while Luffy does admire people who are strong, it isn't his only criteria. Now let's give a rundown of every Straw Hat crew member and see if it was just strength alone that got Luffy interested. Take Zoro for example. Zoro was sought out because of his strength, because of his power, because of his reputation specifically. Luffy never sees Zoro fight. In fact, Luffy is rather dismissive if you go back to this. He dismisses Zoro as a whole because he says, oh, he lost, he's tied up, he's captured, maybe he wasn't even that strong to begin with. Oh, I could beat him. Luffy really demeans Zoro in a lot of instances upon their first initial looks at each other, and Zoro does much of the same. However, when the young girl Rika comes out with her rice balls that probably get stomped on by Helmeppo, Zoro still eats them. Zoro still asks Luffy, tell the girl that I ate the rice balls. Zoro wanted to show Rika kindness for her kindness, and also he wanted to survive. He was willing to eat anything that might come his way. And that's what got Luffy interested. His tenacity and his kindness. Zoro's qualities that got Luffy inspired by the so-called pirate hunter. And then finding out the full story that the only reason Zoro got captured was simply because he was defending Rika and the townspeople pretty much at large, putting down a rabid dog, Luffy was willing to strike back pretty much on Zoro's behalf, free him and make sure he joined his crew. Luffy cared about Zoro after he found out about Zoro's kindness, that he was more than just his strength. Take Luffy's interaction with Nami as well. Nami deceives Luffy, tries to get him injured, puts him in harm's way, and then tries to seek him out after seeing that he has some strength. Luffy utterly dismisses her. He has no interest in Nami initially. But once Nami shows some kindness, feeds Luffy some food, tells Luffy that she has navigational skills, he's all on board. From this point onward, he's all about Nami joining his crew, whether she wants to or not. You're a navigator. You gave me food when you really didn't have to. You're A-okay in my book. And hell, speaking of weaknesses, Usopp is not physically strong. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. He's a trickster. His biggest skill is his sniping abilities. But Luffy found him interesting from the get-go. Think of everything that probably pushed Luffy towards wanting Usopp on his crew. The typical thing of being fed by Usopp. Usopp treated him to a meal. Well, this is a swell guy. Oh, he knows the girl who might be able to help us get a ship? Okay, nice, good stuff. He sees that Usopp is passionate. He's not afraid to throw down for what he truly believes in. even talking to him about, oh, you're Yasop's son. I've heard so many stories about you. I don't care to hear any more, but it's interesting to finally meet you. And in the face of overwhelming odds, Usopp is willing to fight for his village, despite the fact that he's scared, despite the fact that he's outmatched, despite the fact that he has absolutely no chance of taking these dudes down. Usopp joins in the fray, and so do the Straw Hats, because they're not going to leave somebody to face such a terrible fate after hearing all of this. They were inspired by Usopp's passion, so they stand together against the Black Cat pirates. Usopp stands outmatched by Kuro in every sense of the word, but he still tries, time and time again. And with the defeat of the Black Cat pirates and the securing of their own ship, of course they wanted Usopp along for the ride. He didn't have to beat down a whole bunch of dudes, he just had to show that he had the passion and drive that Luffy found interesting in a crewmate, a want to go out to sea, a want to adventure. We also had the moment of Luffy trying to seek out a cook that brought him to the Baratier. If you go back and look, Luffy never sees Sanji fight before he decides to ask him to join his crew. It's when he sees Sanji feed Gin out of the kindness of Sanji's own heart. That's what makes Luffy want Sanji on his crew. It wasn't power that Luffy sought out, it was kindness. There's also Vivi. Vivi starts out as an enemy that Luffy easily defeats along with Mr. Nine. But Luffy immediately kind of warms up to both Vivi and Mr. Nine, deciding, yeah, sure, we'll take you back to your home. We'll get you there in a jiffy. And when he finds out the truth of Vivi's whole situation, he's still like, yeah, sure, we'll take you. We already got you this far, why not? You also have his encounter with Nico Robin, who showed off some form of might and skill when she easily disarmed all of the Straw Hats. But Luffy had no interest in that. He was busy worrying about his hat and flip-flopping between, is she a good person? Is she a bad person? Did she hurt Igaram? Is she trying to lead us into a trap? He was still kind of on the fence about her. But you see a lot of moments of Luffy palling around with Vivi, just hanging out. She doesn't have to be this strong, intense person. They don't even have to really get along that well personality-wise. But Luffy pals around with her regardless. And when Nami gets sick after the visit to Little Garden, and Vivi decides, hey, let's go get her a doctor. Yes, we're on a bit of a timetable, but Nami's health comes first. And the most important moment between Luffy and Vivi, at least in my eyes, that really made her a crewmate to me. Yes, I view Vivi as a crewmate. Was not a moment of physical strength, but a strength of willpower. Even after being shot, Vivi is willing to bow to these people, begging them for any kind of assistance for Nami. And Luffy, who tends to go off the rails, to do his own thing, to not take any kind of orders from anyone, actually follows Vivi's example. This is a princess, someone who is not bound to anything going on with the Straw Hats aside from just trying to get to a destination. And she shows humility that Luffy follows suit with. Now, Luffy's encounter with Chopper, you could say there's a bit of Luffy admiring Chopper's strength, whereas Nami was more interested in the fact that, hey, he's a bit of a doctor, he nursed her back to health. Luffy was just interested in him as food initially, but after seeing him transform and the kindness Chopper showed towards the snowbirds, Luffy was all in. But it was more so that Chopper was weird and Chopper was nice. And another great example of Luffy not taking stock in the strength of those he would call his crewmates is the fact that he outright calls out, hey, Vivi, you ain't strong enough to do all of this. People are going to get hurt, people are going to die, people are going to suffer. Let us help you. You're not able to do this on your own. Bad things are going to happen here. Let us join you in the fight. You also had moment where Luffy was defeated by Crocodile and Robin came to his aid. A show of kindness, not of strength. And this is the moment that really solidifies that Vivi will always have a place on the crew. Because despite the fact that she decided to stay behind, despite also wanting to go with them, Luffy's just like, hey, come on, let's go. Whenever you're ready, you will always have a place on the crew. That was the symbolic meaning behind their gesture. One of the most iconic moments in One Piece. You are not family and a member of this crew because of your strength. Is because you are our friend, because you are kind, you are sweet, we care about you. You mean a lot to us. And thanks to Nico Robin supplying the antidote to Crocodile's poison from his hook, Luffy paid back Nico Robin in whatever method he could in saving her life. So when she came aboard asking to join, Luffy was all in. This is another instance of Luffy almost never really seeing Nico Robin's abilities in full. He just knows she helped him, and that's all he really needed. And when Usopp was beaten down and Luffy and Usopp had that big falling out, Luffy didn't want Usopp to leave. He didn't care that Usopp had lost the money. He cared about his friend. And hell, if anything, strength made Luffy's first introduction to Frankie a whole lot harder. Oh, he hated Frankie at the beginning. Frankie was far from Luffy's favorite person. That's why they got into that big knockdown drag-out fight. But by the time they got to Enies lobby and Frankie had pretty much made peace with everyone, they were on the same side. Because Frankie was there to help. They buried the hatchet over the fact that Frankie was trying to not only make amends, but to do the right thing. And when it came to the request to have Frankie join their crew by the Frankie family, of course Luffy was all in, because Frankie was going to build them a ship. Frankie was doing them multiple solids by this point. Luffy cared more about what Frankie did to help them than Frankie's power. And Brook? He's a talking skeleton. Of course Luffy wanted Brook on his crew, and that was even before he found out he was a musician. Another situation of Luffy not needing strength to attract him to someone. But then you get to Jinbei, who is someone who boasts a lot of power, a lot of strength. But the thing about Jinbei is, Jinbei was helpful, helping in the breakout from Impel Down, making sure that Luffy kept a level head even when presented with the person who had caused Ace to be captured, summoning the whale sharks so that they could get out of Impel Down even more easily than before. Jinbei was Luffy's biggest confidant during the events at Marineford, doing his damnness to look out for Luffy left, right, and center. And once they arrived, Jinbei fought Mihawk to keep him off of Luffy's back. Jinbei helped Luffy get further than anyone towards Ace's execution platform. Jinbei tried his damnness to have Luffy and Ace's back as they escaped. And though he wasn't able to save Ace's life against Akainu, he tried to spare them even a fleeting moment for a goodbye. And when Luffy went completely comatose, it was Jinbei who tried his damnness to get him out of there. We don't really talk about the fact that Luffy's scar on his chest was only there because Akainu's fist went straight through Jinbei. This wasn't Jinbei being strong, it was Jinbei doing his best. Jinbei was overpowered at every turn during Marineford, especially towards the end, especially after the death of Ace. Only just barely getting lucky a few times in order to make sure Luffy got out of there safely. They both suffered that day, but Luffy suffered more mentally than physically, if you could believe that. And when Luffy woke up and started going on his rampage, Jinbei was there to try to put him back to rights, battling Luffy to keep him from doing any more damage to himself, talking Luffy down, reminding him that he still had allies, telling him, eat, get your health up, doing the trip to Marineford in order to give the message to the rest of the Straw Hat, vowing to see Luffy again in 2 years. And though they had a disagreement about how to deal with Horty Jones, ultimately they came up with a plan. Luffy, despite the fact that he wanted to do things his way, ultimately went along with what Jinbei wanted to do. And even going against the taboo of his own people, Jinbei gave of his own blood to Luffy. Of course, Luffy would ask Jinbei to join. Again, not out of strength, but of kindness, faithfulness, caring. And you can also see that with Carrot. Of course you can see that with Carrot. Carrot is immediately willing to do what she can to be along for the ride. Luffy's only criteria, are you strong enough to do this? And she shows him. And he's completely okay with it from then on. Luffy's already taken a shine to how capable she is. There already ends up being a bit of a bond between Luffy and Carrot. Their personalities are very similar. And when Pedro sacrifices himself, Luffy takes that very personally. He sees Carrot attacked by a Katakuri, and he tries to defend her. Luffy and Carrot have meshed together better than most other companion characters who have traveled with the Straw Hats. There has never been an instance where Luffy and Carrot have not gotten along since she got onto the ship outside of Luffy eating one of her carrots. And from the start of Wano, when they encountered each other again after the incident with the waterfall, to when they went to the raid, Carrot has been a staunch ally of Luffy, just as overjoyed to see Jinbei's return. And yes, even Yamato. Luffy wasn't interested in Yamato's strength. Yes, they joined forces, and Luffy was willing to help out Yamato. But when Yamato wanted to go after Kaido, Luffy said no. This is the 9 Red Scabbards, the Akazaya 9's mission. I want you to help Momonosuke. That is what I want you to do. Yamato could have been a great help in the fight against Kaido, but Luffy wanted Yamato to defend Momo. Yamato felt bad about not helping Momo before. This can be your role in atoning for that. This can be your role in showing the people of Wano that you are an ally. Help Momonosuke. And so when I see people claiming that Carrot's no good, she got defeated by Perospero, I think to myself, you mean Perospero, the 5th highest bounty in Big Mom's crew? A bounty higher than the former Sweet Commander Snacks? Snacks is 600 million. Perospero is 700 million. Carrot wasn't going to beat this guy. Carrot's about the same level of power about Chopper, Brook maybe. And who got almost killed by Perospero? Chopper and Brook. And not only that, Perospero outright admits that if it weren't for the fickleness of the weather, he would have been in trouble. Carrot would have had the upper hand along with Wanda. He would have been done in, but the weather did not play to their advantage. Even when Nekomamushi goes after this dude, Nekomamushi, who had been shown to be on par with Jack, one of the Yonko commanders, had trouble with Perospero outside of his Sulong form. It was only because of his Sulong form he was able to defeat Perospero, to get the hit in, to take the Candyman down. A lot of people don't like to think it, but Perospero is stronger than we give the asshole credit for. So while I would have loved to see Carrot wipe the smug grin off of his face, it wasn't gonna happen. Throughout Wano, you see plenty of the Straw Hats overwhelmed. Robin versus Black Maria was not Robin by herself. She had Brook watching her back. Chopper tried his hand at taking down Queen. That wasn't gonna happen. He needed Sanji to step in for him. Sanji couldn't take down Black Maria. He needed Robin to step in for him. Usopp couldn't take down Page 1, it was only because of Big Mom that he got dealt with. Nami didn't take down Ulti by herself. It was because of the intervention of Big Mom and the addition to Zeus back to Nami's arsenal that she was able to take Ulti down. Sanji has said it in the past. The Straw Hats look out for each other. They will take over when one of them cannot do the work. We've seen that time and time again in other instances. And with another video I plan on putting out soon, it's obvious that Carrot is destined to be potentially the next ruler of Zou. And this loss will help her grow, because while she might not have been physically strong, she will overcome this setback and it'll just fuel her ambition for the future. So I say to you again, strength is not what defines a Straw Hat. The willingness to keep moving forward despite defeat, to ask for help, to get assistance, to rise from your defeat and keep moving forward, to keep helping those you care about. That's what makes a Straw Hat. Luffy doesn't care about people being defeated, or even if you're strong beyond measure. Luffy cares about the individual. Are you willing to do your best? Can you help? How can you help? How can he help you if he needs to? Are you willing to defy the odds? But I'm going to end this video here. I want to thank you so much for joining me yet again for another video about our plucky future Straw Hat. The evidence is obvious. Oda has laid it all out. We only have to see what others cannot. So I want you to go out there, boost the hashtags, Carrot for Nakama, Carrot for Straw Hat, preach the gospel because you know the truth of what Oda is trying to do. And if you have time, go over to the Twitter of Carrot for Nakama and give them a follow. This channel was inspired by their wonderful posts and blogs about the depths of the story of One Piece with analytical evidence that goes even deeper and in more detail than I ever could. Join up with a fellow true believer as we continue to cheer on the future lookout of the Straw Hat crew. And look out for the next video. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Stay safe, stay well, and keep on believing. Until next time.